debit, then naturally anything opposite to it will be equal to credit. Liability, if it increases, it will be credit, because capital and liability both lie on the same side of equation. So whatever is good for capital, same will hold good for liabilities as well. So if increase in asset is debit, naturally decrease in asset will be a credit. And you can extend all these rules. You all have written correctly in different language. Just 1 second. Can you see the screen also clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
And the screen is changing also.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
No, sometimes it happens, it doesn't move, so it is better to change it timely, so that we don't waste time in managing or arranging. You're all in some sense fortunate that you don't have to come out of your quilt, your lihaf and kambal at 8 o'clock, maybe 7:30. Otherwise, 8 o'clock, all of you should have been there. And most of you, naturally, most of you would have come to the department using either a scooter or Activa or Bullet or whatever. Very few could have come using a car. So, in that sense, it is maybe some saving for you. And it would have been really miserable had I asked you to stay outside at 8:01. If it is exceeding 8, then either you go back or you go to the cafeteria, have a cup of coffee. But classroom seat was not meant for you after 8 o'clock. Here, if an entry is denied, you don't bother, you just go back to your kitchen, make another cup of tea. That's it. But during those days, but it had its own charm.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Any question if you have?
So last time I've asked for the amortization expenses.
Okay, amortization. Let me explain, although it is not of interest to everybody at this stage, but still I'll explain to you. When a company incurs huge money on any expense, not asset,
Yes, sir.
gradually it gradually it charges it to a profit and loss account. Are you from commerce or from different discipline?
So commerce.
Then it will be easier. Rest of you may not follow. So let me talk to you in that language. When a company spends huge money on any expense, so it is an expenditure. So company
Yes.
does not debit the entire amount to profit loss account in the same year. Gradually it transfers this amount gradually every year to profit and loss account debit side. So the process is known as amortization. You have spent 10 crore on goodwill. So if you charge the entire goodwill in the current year profit loss account, so your statement may show losses. So what is allowed? You consider it as an asset, gradually debit the 1/10 or 1/5 or whatever to your profit loss account. So this process is known as amortization.
Okay.
We come back now to the class that we were discussing. Let me just first give you a quick recap of what we did in the past 8 sessions. I explained to you the justification of this course by giving a few figures, and you must have noted some wrong or some right calculations. And with that, we proved it was necessary. And I also explained to you the role of accounting in decision making, and also role of trust in accounting and accordingly in decision making. When we say role of trust, everybody believes a piece of paper which you or company has compiled. Nobody comes and physically verifies the assets. You only take a decision based on the figures which are available in the financial statements. Company says it has an asset worth 100 crore. You believe it, assets over 100 crore. Company say it has a bank balance of 10,000 rupees. You believe it is 10,000. For taking a decision, nobody goes to the bank of a company and inquires, okay, does this company have this much of money in the bank or not? It means it is all based on trust. And if it is wrongly recorded, deliberately or innocently or by any reason, it is wrongly recorded. So people will continue to trust, but their trust will be hurt. Therefore, ethical issues are also equally important. Then I explained to you the definition of accounting, then various bodies which take care of this subject in our country and abroad, elsewhere in the world. Then the concept of accounting equation was explained to you. And I also explained to you that how the accounts are recorded based on, not recorded, sorry, how the various hits are debited and credited based on accounting equation. Next was kind of account. You see, we assign debit and credit using certain rules. Just one rule you can say. When a transaction takes place, one element of equation will increase, the other will decrease, or both may increase or both may decrease. Any permutation and combination may take place. If you are listening me to carefully, is there any combination which will not be possible in accounting equation? For example, I am saying both assets may increase. Two effects could be that assets is increasing, assets is decreasing, assets is increasing, liability is decreasing, liability is decreasing, capital is increasing. All these things are. Is there any particular combination which will not happen or which will not be possible? Say it again, Adil. Unequal. Okay, let us assume that increase is the amount is equal. Amount is 100% equal. I am asking, for example, if I make a statement, if with the transaction, asset will increase and asset will decrease. So this is in a case where you buy furniture. So furniture is increasing, cash is decreasing. So like this, can there be a combination wherein you can say that this is impossible that capital will decrease and asset will increase, something like that. Anyway, may sound a bit difficult at this stage, leave it. Let me proceed. So we have equation. Based on equation, we see increase or decrease. Accordingly, we abbreviate it, we code it using debit and credit. Similarly, there is another basis which most of you, which other students from commerce must have, studied. There's another basis which says based on which you can record the transactions. That is known as kinds of account approach. This slide I'll come later. Kinds of accounting approach. Kinds of account approach. First approach that we discussed was equation. This is kinds of accounts. In this thing, what we do, we classify all the transactions into maximum 3. Whatever transaction takes place, the transaction will belong to one or more than one group of accounts. Either it will be personal and real, or both personal or both real, one nominal, something like that. I'll explain to you first what these accounts are, and then I'll explain further. In a transaction, either the persons will be involved, person or group of persons, say Aligarh Muslim University, Banaras Hindu University, or Jamia Millia Islamia, or your name, my name, all these names which are a personal account. If I say Ahmad Saeed account, Rana Mika account, or Deepika account, or this Shamil Ahmad account, these are all personal accounts. So in a transaction, either there will be a person's involvement, or there will be involvement of real things, which you can physically check and verify. Other than person can also be physically verified. Other than person, there will be things such as furniture, cash, building, machinery, land. So these are all examples of real account. Then there will be third category of account known as a nominal account, which you cannot physically see. You cannot physically check. So there will be nominal account. What could be the examples of nominal account?
So salaries, wages.
Goodwill,
Good. Expenses.
Goodwill,
Expenses. Goodwill is not an
incomes,
example of nominal account.
incomes,
No, I'll explain to you why it is not. Right now, your expenses, your income, profit, loss, these you cannot physically see. In your English language terminology, you can say these are abstract noun. Okay. Now take up some examples, some transactions. I will explain to you what are these. Any transaction that may come to your mind. Anyone of you tell? Okay. We purchase goods
The
for
tax paying.
No, let me take one by one. I'll come to that also. Goods purchased for sales. Good. Now you purchase, let us assume, for cash. So one is goods, the other one is cash. What are these two?
So
Real
cash is real account.
goods is a real account. And how about cash?
Cash is a real account.
Cash is also a real account. Both accounts are real account. Okay. Any other transaction? How somebody said taxes paid. Suppose you are saying taxes in through check. So what are taxes?
So expense.
Expenses. So which account is
Expenses.
does it
Nominal.
become? Nominal. So one account is nominal and name of the account is taxes. Which is the second account?
So bank,
Bank account. Which account is this?
Real.
real account.
Real.
Real or personal?
So personal account.
Personal, sir, personal.
Personal account. Personal account. Any other transaction? Your audio is mute, Arma.
Goods sold on credit.
Goods sold on credit. Correct. What is goods?
Real
The
account.
goods
Real account.
Real account. Okay. Goods is real account. When you say goods sold on credit, if I say it is an incomplete description of the account. It is an incomplete description of the transaction. How can it be complete?
the goods sold on credit to XYZ.
Ah, yes, yes. Goods sold on credit to XYZ. Now, who is XYZ?
Personal account.
So one is personal account, title is XYZ. One is real account and title is goods sold or sales. Okay. Any other transaction?
Sir, FD.
Okay. Amount deposited in a fixed deposit. So once you make a fixed deposit, what happens? Your bank balance decreases and your asset in the form of fixed asset increases. What is bank balance?
Personal account.
What is fixed deposit?
Real account.
Real
Real
account.
account.
Again, you may say again a real account in the form of fixed deposit. Any other transaction? All right. Now you will realize that in under all situations there will be two accounts involved, either one account twice or one personal, one real, one nominal, one personal, any combination. Is that right? Then we may simply apply the rules. Look here what I have mentioned. All transactions would affect one or more of the following accounts. This part is clear? Then rule for each account of the above. What are the rules? The rules are, you may, I think I have not written it in the slides. You may take out your pen and copy.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, is capital a personal account or a real account?
Okay. Tell me the transaction that will be better for everybody to follow.
So suppose XYZ brings in cash worth rupees 20,000 to
Good.
set up a
XY,
business.
okay. XYZ has introduced a capital of rupees 10,000 in business. What are two things here?
So cash
One
coming
is
in.
cash, which is clear. So cash is your real account.
Yes, sir.
What is capital?
So it
When we
is
say XYZ has brought into this capital, it is
So
personal.
personal account.
Personal
Okay,
account. XYZ's capital or capital of XYZ. Can
Okay.
any one of you tell me which accounting convention is guiding me here?
Sir, entity.
Yes, very right. You should not have taken that long. You are right, absolutely right. Entity. Why is
Business
it
entity.
entity? Because so long as money was with Mr. XYZ, it was his personal thing. The moment he brought it into business, we have got two entities. One is XYZ and one is XYZ and company. XYZ and Sons, a name of any firm. Entity has made it two different things. So it is capital of XYZ. Now, second step was we have rules. Now, what is the rule of personal account? Write down debit, the receiver, credit the giver. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So in case of persons, either he will be receiver or he will be a giver. Either he will be receiver or he will be a giver. In case of real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Real, there will be things like cash, furniture, building, machinery, mobile phone, laptop, air conditioners, fans. So in case of real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Third is nominal account. So you will either have income or you will have expense. Either you will have profit or you will have loss. So debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes. So you have got rules for these three accounts. So
Sir, can you repeat rules for real account?
real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out.
So can you repeat rules for nominal?
All expenses and losses are to be debited. All income are to be credited. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay, so what step we take? First step is we decide which of the two accounts are getting affected. What is the rule of each account, and accordingly we debit or credit. I have illustrated it in the next slide. Look at this. What does this slide convey? Transaction 1, let us say we purchased furniture for cash. So what is cash account here?
Real account.
Real account.
Real. The moment you have correctly identified, immediately apply the rule. What is the rule of real account? Debit what
Debit
comes in.
what comes in, credit what goes out.
In the transaction, what is happening with cash? Coming in or going out?
So going out.
Going out.
Cash
Going
will
out.
Cash will be
Credited.
credited. Done. What is furniture? Real account. Coming in or going out?
Coming in, debited.
Coming in, debited.
Okay, so the entry will become furniture account debit, cash account credit.
Credit.
Now I have written it systematically in the second line. Furniture is real account. Cash is also real account. Furniture, real, coming in, hence debit. Cash, real, going out, hence credit. Take another transaction. Paid wages through check. What is wages?
Nominal account.
Nominal.
Account.
Expenses. See, it should follow systematically. The moment you say nominal, the next question you should ask, is it income, expense, loss, or what? It is your expense.
Expense.
Hence, it will be.
Debited.
Now, what is bank?
Personal
Personal.
account.
Bank is receiver or giver? Giver. So it will be
Credit.
okay. Now wait for a minute here. Just 1 second. I am writing a statement in the chat box. Write your roll number, and those of you who are yet to be allotted roll number, kindly write your what do you call enrollment number. This problem I hope will be sorted out soon. A small statement I am writing. It is to ensure your attendance, nothing more. But please follow the instructions religiously. Write your 3 digits of roll number, 1 space, and then either T or F. Write it quickly, not more than 30 seconds. Okay. If everybody has written, oh. All right, we proceed now. The purpose is clear. is over now. You have all written whatever you wanted to write, and I'll record it as your attendance. Fine. So this is how we can use kind of accounts and then assign debit and credit. Now, if you follow both the systems, you take any 10 transactions, 5 transactions, 100 transactions, each transaction you analyze using, let me stay here itself for a minute. You each time you debit or credit using either equation or using kinds of account approach, definitely you will end up assigning same debit and same credit because both of them follow the same. Rules are different, but the outcome will be the same. So all the transactions that I had analyzed earlier using accounting equation, you can check all the transactions using kinds of accounts, and wherever you find any discrepancy, get back to me, post in the group, or do whatever you wish. We should be in a position to help you out. If you wish to know anything at this stage, go ahead, else I will take you to the next slide. Assuming that you are not asking anything, let me proceed. I have written here, think of 5 more transactions and analyze. So you think 5 transactions on your own and analyze them like above. And if you think any difficulty at any stage, let me know, I'll explain. Now the screen that you see now, at the slide that you see on your screen now, is a formal kind of recording. Can any one of you, especially from non-commerce, recall the definition of accounting?
So,
Go ahead.
So accounting is an art of recording, classifying, summarizing, and interpretation of the
Good.
results of business transactions.
What is the first word?
Recording.
Record. So we are still at the stage of recording, right? So this is the formal type of recording. When the transactions are recorded, they are recorded in a book known as a journal. So usually, see, it is appearing like this in the slide, but in real life situations, there'll be a printed book if people are following manual system of accounting. Right now, hardly anybody would be following manual, very limited people, small trader and all, but they are following all electronic system, in system through computer or through some software or through some other thing they are writing. But if it is a manual kind of a system, they have got a printed book, and this book is known as journal. They record the transactions in this book. You call that book as journal, not GEN, but JORNAL, journal. All right. So if you see, you have got several columns. First column is date. I have just given here serial number. Date is a specific way it is written. Then there's a column for particular. Then there's a column for folio, amount debit, amount credit. You see, whichever account is debit, it has been written first. If you see the trend, everywhere you will find debit written as first. Second is the account which is credit. So instead of writing the word credit, the word to has been mentioned. So we have, how do we record? Cash account debit to capital account. If you recall the first transaction, let us say somebody introduced capital in business. So cash is increasing and capital is also increasing. So increase in cash being an asset will be debited. Increase in capital being this one on the other side of equation will be credited. So entry would become cash account debit to capital account. And third line we write known as narration. Why have we passed this entry? A brief explanation of what the about 2 or 3 or 4 lines mean. So in particulars, we write which account is to be debited, which account or accounts are to be credited. So cash account debit to capital account. And then third column, I'll explain to you once we reach the second stage, leave it for the time being. Then we have got next and last column, amount debit, amount credit. So 1 lakh we have written in debit side, 1 lakh we have written in credit side. Similarly, whatever account is to be debited in the next transaction will be recorded, next to next transaction will be recorded. Look at the second transaction. deposited money in bank. Now analyze it using equation. Bank is your asset, increasing, therefore debited. Cash, your asset, decreasing because you are depositing in bank, will be credited. So the way entry is to be recorded, bank account debit to cash account. If we analyze the same entry using kind of accounts, again we will get the same results. Bank, personal, receiver, therefore debited. Cash, real, going out, therefore credited. Now third account, third transaction, we purchased goods for cash. So purchases are what in terms of accounts of account? क्या है
Nominal account.
Goods account.
Expense.
Real. Coming in, therefore
Real
debit.
account.
Real account. So you will apply rule of real account. What is the rule? Debit what comes in, coming in, therefore debit. Now second account, cash. Which account is this?
Real account.
Real
Real
account.
account.
Real
Coming in or
account.
going out?
Goes out.
Going out.
Therefore it will be
Credited.
credited. Now if you are to analyze the same account using accounting equation, what is purchase?
So as
Expense. Purchase is your expense.
The reduction of capital.
Yes, very true. Purchase is an expense. Expenses reduce capital, reduction and capital will be debited. What is cash? Asset. Decreasing, therefore credited.
credited.
Now next transaction, these are all the same that we analyzed earlier. Right now I am only showing you the way they are recorded in specific books. So you have purchased you purchased let me check, you purchased furniture for rupees 60,000 in such a way that you paid 10,000 in cash, 20,000 you paid through check, and 30,000 you bought on credit for. So let us analyze it using kinds of accounts. What is furniture?
Real account.
Real account.
Coming in, therefore debit. So how much furniture is coming in? 60,000.
60,000.
Worth 60,000. So furniture account debit worth rupees 60,000. We have debited furniture for 60,000. Now what is cash?
Real account.
Going out, therefore credit 10,000. What is bank?
Personal account.
Personal account.
Personal account, giver, therefore credit. What is Indian furniture store?
Personal account.
Personal account,
Personal account.
giver, therefore credit.
Credited.
Now fourth line, last line I have not mentioned because I have just given you illustration in two cases. Remaining you can do on your own. So if I were to write the last line also within a bracket known as a narration, what would have I written?
For purchase of furniture.
Bought furniture for rupee, bought furniture and paid in cash and bank and on credit.
Yes, sir.
See, there is no standard way to be written. It is just to give you some explanation. Why are we passing this entry? Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, I gave you 10 transactions. So what is your job now? Your job would be to write all these transactions in this way. Not only write all these transactions in this way, do it in 3 stages. In the first stage, analyze all those 10 transactions using accounting equation. Second, analyze all those transactions using kinds of account and codify them. That is assign debit and a credit. Compare all those transactions and ensure that under both the systems, your debit and credit are same. In case of transaction number 5, if you have debited bank using equation, the same transaction number 5 using kinds of account, bank should also have been debited. So this will ensure that you have understood both the basis, accounting equation as well as kind of accounts. Usually in our universities, in our colleges, the students of commerce are taught kinds of accounts only. So several of you are sitting here with commerce. Have you analyzed the transactions in your graduation or 12th standard using equation? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Mostly
No,
you
sir.
might have not. I'll explain you the merits of equation over kinds of account. I have no disrespect for the kinds of account or respect for equation. I have also been a student of commerce, and I also learned only kinds of accounts during our days. But recently, not recently, again I'm talking 30 years ago, we were introduced the concept of equation in some of the books of accounts, and we thought once we actually analyze these, we come to know that this system of equation offers more advantage compared to kinds of account. One of the most important advantage that the equation offers is that at the end of each transaction, you know your financial position. Now you know that when you enter the transaction in the form of equation, A is equal to C plus L. And what is A is equal to C plus L? A is equal to C plus L is your balance sheet. Your assets are equal to capital plus liability. If your capital has increased compared to the first transaction, business is in profit. If capital has decreased, business is in loss. Is it correct or not? Because expenses decrease capital and income increases. At the end of each transactions, practically, you are getting a balance sheet. Is not it a important advantage? Just 1 second. Today is what date is 17th. Can this advantage be derived using accounting equation? Using kinds of accounts?
No, sir.
No. So because of this merit, better to analyze using the accounting equation. Now we move on to the second, what we do next. I have a question before I, just 1 second. I have a question before I, before I proceed. You see, in this one, why are we writing the amount in 2 columns? Debit and credit. When the amount is same. See, in debit it is 10,000, credit also 10,000. Debit 20,000, credit also 20. Last transaction, transaction number 5th, total of debit is also 60 and 50, and total of credit is also 50.
So to make sure that it is balanced and that no errors are made during recording the transaction.
How do we balance it? How do we make sure?
Through accounting equation?
No, somebody has rightly told adding debit and credit together. See, earlier on, I'll tell you the logic. I mean, beyond what we have said. When accounts were prepared manually, so at the end of a week or a month, if you check, you will not know where you have made a mistake. So each page used to be total. Accountant used to total each page. When both sides are equal, he will proceed to the next page. It was almost a surety that nothing has gone wrong on this page. That is why it is recorded on both sides. For you, I'll explain to you when we come to the second stage. So this part is clear, the other part is also clear. Now let me come back to where I wanted you to spend some time using this one. Now read the first heading. What does it say? If asset increases,
Another asset decreases.
Another asset decreases.
is it true or false?
False.
False.
So it depends. If we purchase on cash, then cash will decrease.
Okay. So you say it is neither true nor false, can be anything.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Any one of you can post, but before you do that, make sure that you always post anything first by writing your roll number, 3-digit roll number, so that I know your name as well as your roll number. Tell me what is the possibility. Post it in the chat box. What could be the possibility wherein this statement cannot be absolute? Post it. Adil has posted purchasing goods for sales. But hold on, not more than that. Enough. I'll explain. इतना काफी. अरे भाई, otherwise ये ऊपर चला जाएगा. Okay, let me copy then. अभी ऐसा कीजिए. You have given these situations. This sales is not a transaction. Complete transaction post कीजिए. Let me copy it somewhere and then I'll be able to explain to you. Okay. You have mentioned, Adil has mentioned purchase goods for sales. What was the question? The question was true or false. If one asset increases, the other asset. It was the question or different one? If asset
question was that
increases, another asset decreases.
Decreases.
Okay, what was your now let me read what you have mentioned. Purchase of goods for sales. When you buy goods for sales, you still have not mentioned a complete transaction. Is it for cash or credit? Adil, you wrote this one now? Okay. Is it cash or credit? No, I'm saying purchase for goods for sales you have written, but it is for cash or credit? Cash, purchase good for cash, okay. So one asset is decreasing. One asset, that is cash, which is decreasing. What will be the second effect? Our expenses will increase or capital will decrease. Another asset decreases. So that means another asset will not decrease. At times another asset will decrease. Okay. Now how about the second statement? If asset increases, liability also increases. Again, true or false? Or none of the two?
False, sir.
Possible but not sure.
Not
It's
absolute.
False.
not absolute, sir. Because
Not
sir,
absolute. Not absolute.
so because as per like A is equal to C plus S, if capital is increasing, then also asset is increasing. So
Yes.
we cannot assure that it is true or not.
Correct. Fine. How about the third one, 1C? Can you make any statement if asset increases? Any statement that can complete the sentence?
So
Another
increasing capital,
So capital
and
entry.
capital also increases.
Another asset may increase. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Capital may increase. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Revenue may increase. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Expenses may increase.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. No?
Sir, revenue will not increase.
Revenue will not increase.
If asset increases, revenue will not increase?
No, sir. How will that?
No,
May
sir.
or may not?
The expenses will increase.
Okay.
So assets
Good.
will.
Come to the second one. If liability increases, another asset increases. Is that true or false?
Some may or may not.
Okay, tell me under what condition it cannot. If liability increases, tell me why the first sentence is not true. 2A.
Sometimes you pay the interest for a loan, something like that.
What is the transaction? Liability decreases.
Suppose creditors give the payment.
Creditor is your liability? Or will he give you payment or you will pay him?
So we will pay him.
You will pay, na?
if we pay the
If
creditor.
we pay to our creditors, if we pay to our creditors. So when we pay to our creditors, asset will
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
asset will decrease.
decrease. That
Decrease.
means in this situation, this statement is false.
False.
Okay, think of any other combination. When liability decreases, you are clearing bank's loan.
Yes, sir. That
Your
overdraft.
bank balance will decrease. Will there be any other effect? The transaction, what does the transaction say? Liability decreases. When you say interest, one should not be rather confused in it. Just concentrate on the transaction, what is happening now. If we say interest paid, it becomes absolutely entirely a different transaction. We are not saying what is happening to interest. We have only said if liability decreases. That means 2A under all conditions is going to be false only. Am I right? If liability decreases, asset will never increase. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How about the 2B? If a liability increases, another liability also increases, or another liability may increase. Is it true or false? Or again, any of the two?
So any of the two.
Okay, tell me the situation where any other two. When liability increases, under what conditions liability will increase? You borrow money from friends, you borrow money from bank, you buy goods on credit,
Sir, if we
isn't it?
purchase something on credit.
Okay, sell something on credit,
Purchase something on credit.
purchase some, yes, purchase something on credit. So when you buy something on credit, what happens?
So the asset increases
Which
in the
asset
form
is
of.
increasing?
So the goods, the furniture. If say we purchase furniture on credit, then the furniture is asset
Oh,
and it
but you said
decreases.
buy something on credit, furniture will be okay. But if you buy goods, then purchase of
Yes,
goods
sir. It
is
will be
not asset.
capital.
It is an expense.
Yes, sir.
Okay, think over it. How about 2C? If liability decreases, capital may increase. Think over it again. Under what conditions capital increase?
So if we have received the revenue,
Yes,
we have
only
received the
revenue
revenue.
increase your capital. So the statement that somebody made is not correct. Okay, no issues. You are just new to the system. You will take time before you can answer all these questions. But I'm just trying to acclimatize you with this one so that you don't feel at a later stage. If liability decreases, what can be another sentence? How could you complete
Asset
2C?
decreases. Asset decreases.
Asset decreases. You are right. Because when you
The
pay back
liability may
to
increases.
somebody, your asset will decrease. Any other example?
So capital may increase.
I am asking you under what conditions capital increases. Capital increases only once there is a revenue.
Revenue increases.
When revenue increases or when you introduce capital, so there is no question of decreasing the liability.
Excuse me, sir.
Think of
Sir,
one or two
in
more situations wherein this sentence can be correctly completed. Now come to the third one. If owner's equity increases, asset also increases. Sorry, asset decreases. Is it correct, true or false?
So false.
False. How about 2C, 3B?
True.
Acha, can you just one second? Your second period starts at 8:50.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Just give
sir.
me break,
Yes, sir.
just give me a break of 1 minute only. So just 1 minute, 1 minute.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
What do we mean?
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry for some. We still don't have the system where people visit you by appointment. And if you tell somebody that I am busy, somebody has come home, they will feel, oh, this man has gone, does not have manners. But anyway, we are living in this country. We have to abide, or maybe by the social system that we have. Let us continue. So in third B, 3B, if owner's equity increases, asset also increases.
True.
What do you write in third? How about third C? How do you complete a sentence? If capital increases,
So liability may decrease.
liability may decrease. कैपिटल के इंक्रीज होने से लायबिलिटी डिक्रीज हो सकती है. कैसे बताइए?
So like conversion of loan into shares.
Conversion of loan into shares. Very true. Or maybe giving share.
Conversion of debenture holders into equity shareholders.
Yes. Correct. For the others, for the benefit of others who are not well aware of debentures and shares and all, if you had bought something on, you bought some asset on credit, furniture आपने credit कर लिया, so you make that person as owner of your company, part of the owner, proportionate owner. So what is happening? Capital is increasing and asset is also, liability is also decreasing. Any other simple way? Think over it and we will discuss if you are not able to. Fourth one, when goods are destroyed by fire, which account will be debited and which account will be credited?
The stock
Sir,
will be credited.
loss maybe.
Okay, loss will be debited or which account will be credited?
Stock
Capital
will
account.
be credited.
कैपिटल अकाउंट. और बताइए अकाउंट का टाइटल क्या होगा? कैपिटल तो
Profit and loss account.
Real account.
जैसे जस्ट वन सेकंड, लाइक आई एम सेइंग असेट. असेट तो कुछ भी हो सकती. तो हियर बी स्पेसिफिक. असेट मींस कैश, असेट मींस फर्नीचर, असेट मींस लैंड.
एसेट डेबिटेड हो जाएगा.
क्या डेबिट होगा?
एसेट डेबिटेड हो जाएगा और लायबिलिटी क्रेडिटेड हो जाएगी.
असेट नहीं, बी स्पेसिफिक. कौन सी असेट? क्या नाम होगा असेट का जो डेबिट करेंगे?
Stock will be credited, sir. It won't be debited because we are
वन
using.
जस्ट वन सेकंड, लेट मी क्लैरिफाई हियर. अगर आप कहते हैं असेट डेबिट होगा, तो असेट तो बेटा डेबिट जब होता जब असेट इंक्रीज होता. असेट तो यहाँ कोई इंक्रीज हो नहीं रहा. So what will be debited? See, when goods are destroyed by fire, okay, analyze it in the form of accounting equation. I'm sorry, kinds of account. तो goods आपके हैं, goods क्या हैं?
Real account.
Goods real account. Coming in or going out?
So going
out. Destroy का मतलब खत्म हो रहे हैं. तो आपका goods जो है या इस goods को आप स्टॉक कीजिए, वो स्टॉक आपका डेबिट हो जाएगा. अगर आप इस अंदाज से अगर आप समझना चाहते हैं स्टॉक, आप क्रेडिट क्या करेंगे फिर आप?
Goods account.
Going account, going out.
डेबिट भी वही होगा, क्रेडिट भी वही होगा.
Yes, sir. Stock will be credited.
Stock will be credited because it is the goods going out or decreasing. Then this destroyed by fire is your loss. Losses are
Debited.
so profit and loss account or losses will be debited and goods or stock will be
Credited.
Okay, fifth one, read it properly. Accountant has credited salary account and debited bank account. इसको ऑर्डिनरी लैंग्वेज में बताइए क्या ट्रांजैक्शन हो सकता है ये? सपोज आई से
salary received.
सपोज ये रैपिड फायर राउंड है, मैंने कह दिया रॉन्ग है. दूसरा बताइए.
सर ज्यादा सैलरी क्रेडिट हो गई.
Salary received.
somebody saying some ज्यादा सैलरी
ज्यादा क्रेडिट हम.
यस सर.
ओके, सैलरी ज्यादा क्रेडिट हो गई तो
सर फिर रिकंसाइल हुआ और उसके बाद फिर बैलेंस हुआ तो फिर बैंक अकाउंट डेबिटेड टू सैलरीज अकाउंट दोबारा से.
अच्छा, और बताइए.
तो उसको सैलरी मिस्टेकनली ज्यादा क्रेडिट हो गई तो वो नेक्स्ट मंथ में उसको रेक्टिफाई करेंगे.
अच्छा, और कुछ बताइए. पार्टली तो सब सही है बट 100% सही नहीं है.
Salary received in bank.
सैलरी रिसीव्ड इन बैंक. आप किसके अकाउंट लिख रहे हैं? अपने लिख रहे हैं बैंक के?
अपने लिख रहे हैं.
अपने लिखेंगे ना. तो बैंक में क्या हो रहा है वो तो हम अपने हिसाब से बताएंगे कि हमारे यहाँ बैंक को डेबिट होना चाहिए, हमारे यहाँ बैंक को क्रेडिट होना चाहिए. हम उस हिसाब से देखेंगे ना, उस हिसाब से देखने की कोशिश कीजिए, फिर बताइए, फिर एफर्ट कीजिए, कोई इशू नहीं, फिर एफर्ट कीजिए।
सर अगर हमें मतलब बैंक अकाउंट में हमारा सैलरी आ रही है तो हम बैंक अकाउंट को डेबिट करेंगे ना, तो सैलरीज अकाउंट को क्रेडिट करेंगे।
आपके अकाउंट में सैलरी आएगी, मेक श्योर दैट यू आर, आप अपना पर्सनल अकाउंट बना रहे हैं कंपनी का?
यहाँ पर्सनल अकाउंट क्या है?
नहीं, इस वक्त हम हमेशा हम बात करेंगे कंपनी की, हम कंपनी के अकाउंट्स की बात कर रहे हैं ना, तो कंपनी के अकाउंट में कोई सैलरी आएगी? नहीं आएगी ना, तो कंपनी के हिसाब से आप इसको वो कीजिए, आई मीन इंटरप्रेट कीजिए। ऑल राइट, अगर नहीं कर सकते हैं तो इसको नोट कर लीजिए और फिर मुझे सोच के बताइए। यहाँ आइडिया सिर्फ ये है कि आपको ये अंदाजा हो जाए कि एप्लीकेशन क्या है जो कुछ हम पढ़ा रहे हैं, और अगर सवाल मालूम किए जाएं तो कैसे हम उनका जवाब देंगे। एक सेकेंड, एक लास्ट ये ट्रांजैक्शन आपका लास्ट टाइम रह गया था, उसको आपने कर लिया होगा, कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है। ये सब क्लियर हो गया? ओके, वी विल कंटिन्यू अवर डिस्कशन। If you have any question, you can ask me. Let me go to the chat box and see if someone else has written something. It's okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, can you please open the slide of journal entry?
Journal entries. Hold on for a second. This one?
Yes, sir. So we also discussed one more transaction after fifth transaction while you were studying accounting equation. The transaction was regarding dishonored cheque.
Okay.
Yes,
You want me
sir.
to explain the transaction?
Yes, sir, please.
Using what? Equation or what?
Sir, using kind of accounts.
Kinds of accounts. So when check is dishonored, there are parties involved. Bank is there?
Yes, sir.
And
the company.
okay. When we deposited check, bank was receiver or giver?
Bank was the giver.
Bank was a giver of money. When this actually has not happened, then what we will do? Just reverse that. Okay, do it one thing. I can explain to you in a minute, but do one thing. Record that transaction as if check has been deposited. Then just do opposite of that and then see the basis. You will be able to realize it. If not, I'll explain to you. Because you are about to, we are about to close, in a sense that we will be getting late for the second class. So for the time being, you may leave the meeting. We'll continue our discussion tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure. My pleasure.